This is back in the 90s and early aughts, right? Like if I was at a show and there was a guy wearing a dress, it was just like whatever. You know, you'd see dudes wearing, you know, black dress or whatever, and people might give him a second look,
right?
But nobody said anything. No one cared.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a dress guy.
Yeah.
To my understanding, it was because like that was a counterculture. You guys were like a niche part of society, so it was just like it is what it is. But like what I wanted to pull up is some of the biggest athletes in the world right now are openly painting their nails. We've got Jared McCain right here. He's a starter for the Philadelphia 76ers. Caleb Williams, a quarterback for the Chicago Bears, and Israel Adesanya, a multiple champion UFC fighter. So we've gotten to the point, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about this, is that the biggest athletes in the world, which is like everyone loves sports, right? This is pop culture. This is like the mainstream.
Yeah.
And now they're totally embracing what you guys were talking about in the 90s and the early aughts. I mean, if you look at like the Met Gala, and they invite all the NBA players and they're wearing these skirts and they're black, and the NBA players are like, oh, I can't wear like a bright color, right? I need to be cool still. So they wear the skirt, but it's like black, and it does remind me of like Goth. Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to get your thoughts on all that and how it's like it totally has been stolen, right?
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, historically speaking now, men in dresses in goth clubs, that's like 1968.
Yeah.
That's really far back. Like Batcave. Like the Batcave.
Yeah.
Like which I think would close. What did that close? Like 73 or something. I can't remember when it closed, but it was. It was. Again, this is what I was saying earlier. That was expression. That was expression. Mm-hmm. Now they're activists.
Yeah.
Right.
Now it's no longer just I just felt like it. What do you think? And everyone's like, yeah, that's cool. This song's great. Mm-hmm. It's no longer that. Now it's this, I'm making a statement. Do you agree with it? Yeah. And it's like, do I agree with you wearing a dress? Sure. It's like, no, that's not enough.
Do you validate my existence?
Yeah, validate me. I can't continue on unless I am validated by the herd, right? This is the kind of conformity that I was talking about with.
I mean, we have
with,
leftism on the screen, like Dennis Rodman doing this stuff in the 90s.
Athletes have always been very flamboyant, though.
Now I'm just going yawn. Like, all right.
Yeah. There used to be that sprinter that had like the pineapple head. I can't remember his name. He was a runner from the 90s, late 90s. They used to call him Pineapple Head. He used to have.
I think his name was Pineapple Head.
Yeah, I think that was his name.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Head. Mr. P.
His parents hated him.
They did. But I think that you know, this is something, you know, worth kind of drilling down on. Like to your point, Jake, the idea that you could wear whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
And that was really what the counterculture, subculture kind of thing was.
Yeah.
It wasn't a statement about I fit in.
Yeah.
It was I'm going to do what I want in spite of the fact that the normative culture would look down on this, or the normative culture rejects this, right? So if that's the case, if it was initially just a rejection, where does that leave people that are looking to express themselves and reject the normal culture when it's like everything is now just window dressing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, self-expression is, you know, everyone can do that. It is. It doesn't rely on any political affiliation, right? So people are just like, well, you can't be conservative in goth because a conservative would never wear a skirt. Mm-hmm. But then not every goth was wearing a skirt.
Right.
You had masculine goths, you know, like myself, for example, and then you've got the ones that, you know, wanted to wear the skirts. You could also go as a conservative to a goth club, listen to the music that was about love and romance and death and loss, because that's almost exclusively what they were about. Yep. And in some cases, like The Cure, getting lost in the forest as a young boy, and that's it. That's literally all it's about. And then you could wear, you know, a skirt and listen to these songs that are decidedly apolitical, and then go home and say, you know, maybe abortion's not great.
Right.
But to the point, like, as much as it was likely that you would see a guy in a skirt, you would also almost invariably see a dude that was in a black suit with a black shirt and a black tie. Mm-hmm. And that imagery has been part of goth and the subculture for as long as I've been aware of it, you know, and I, you know, I'm an old guy, you know, it's like the idea, I can't count how many goth bands I've seen that look like they're dressed up to go to a funeral. Yeah. And that's, I mean, that falls right in line with the idea of loss and you know, the themes that goth tends to explore. So the idea that you can't be conservative or that you can't dress in a conservative way and go to a goth club, I think that that's just can be dismissed out of hand, right?
It's just ridiculous to think that it's this misconception that conservatism is absolute. It is every single ideal in their extremes at all times. But of course, we know there's nuance to everything. It is bipartisan, but within the left and the right and the center, there are delineations. It's an entire graph, right?
Right. Well, I mean,
like Nazis like ourselves.
yeah.
Nazis like ourselves,
Yes,
right?
well, yeah.
Not everyone's us,
I mean, it took me even a minute to just sort of adopt the term right-wing or conservative, because I didn't really...
They make it a no-no word.
They
make you so afraid. It's the same way they make you afraid of being called a racist or a transphobe. This is how they control you.
Well, yeah, it was just there are things that I believe and things that I don't believe. And
Yeah.
I guess that puts me in one camp or the other.
Yeah.
And
But then it does, because whenever you present yourself as like, oh, I don't believe in every conservative value, but maybe this stuff, maybe we should. And they're like, so you're a Nazi then?
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, so you're not my friends at all. The only friends I got left are over these very sweet, kind, conservative people who have now radicalized me. So good job. I'm no longer on the fence. You pushed me into his garden.
Someone in the chat, Structural Ruin in the chat said Dracula was literally the aristocracy.
Yeah.
Structure.
Oh, I'll do you one.
Great
I'll
point.
do you one better than that. Dracula was based on Vlad the Impaler, and do you know what he did to the invading Muslims?
Oh yeah. He made a fence.
That boy was not a liberal. Okay.
Yeah.
And so much of goth itself, the music and the aesthetic was based off of gothic novels and gothic historical figures like Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah.
Would you-
Lady Bathory, Dracula, etc. Blood-sucking elites. Yeah. which is absolutely true.
Not a socialist among them.
Would you consider the sphere that you guys are in a mass, like not now, but before, like I guess wokeness took over? Would you consider it more of a masculine or feminine kind of like energy or culture?
In goth?
And goth,
Metal?
and metal and punk, because I know you guys are all, like you said, it's all a little bit different.
Well, metal's
sex.
you'll know this, and I'm a metal guy as well, but it's for dudes.
It's metal is about as homoerotic as you can get.
Yeah.
It's generally, at least, historically, it's been 4 or 5 guys on stage performing for 95% dudes.
Yeah.
It's really a way for young, or it historically has been a way for young men to get their aggression out.
Yeah.
Right? A healthy way for young men to express the aggression that they feel. That's a big part of why, like, the mosh pit, right? The pit, people would go and whether you call it slam dancing or whatever, people would go in there. And I mean, I do not have a very straight set of teeth because of how many times I've been knocked in the face.
Yeah.
I'm not everyone knows I'm not a big guy, but when I was young, I would
Occupational hazard, I think.
yeah, I would be going out there into the pit and dancing along and getting down front singing. I've done my fair share of stage diving, and that kind of at least in the metal community, that kind of expression was because it was a healthy way to get aggression out. And I'm actually interested in hearing what you guys kind of feel.
So what you were saying about the subcultures themselves are divided on how gender is expressed. Like Phil was saying there, like metal very much is like, combat pants and, leather jacket and a I'm going to kick your ass later kind of look on your face. But then you did have things like emo and scene and also goth as well, which were androgynous, not feminine.
Yeah.
Because androgynous, right? So you had some women that looked like gigantic dudes, and then you had some men that were frail, timid, tiny little things, and people were sort of dressing all over the place. So it was androgynous, and there definitely is a sense of we're sort of playing around with this without the activism being involved. But as you were saying earlier about a lot of the sort of the new punks of this era sort of wearing shirts and ties. And what I was saying about that these countercultures are forever shifting to reflect the current culture. It makes perfect sense in a time where men are not only being disenfranchised but feminized. That there's a big research. There's like a counterculture of men being more masculine.
Yeah.
As a form of counterculture.
I think that's where the activism comes from. And I think like the androgynous cultures might have been more susceptible to like this, like, I think a lot of the feminism way we like rule society today is where cancel culture comes from, is where the activism comes from. And I almost think like that's why metal, I think it's largely been unaffected by the woke takeover. There's been their elements, but I still consider it masculine as hell.
I think Franz had a bit of from Attila. I think he had a bit.
Franz is great. Shout out to Franz.
Yeah, Franz is great. Shout out to that guy. But he definitely had his run-in with that. I mean, the metal scene definitely does have its issue with the woke left. Sure. It really does.
I mean, I've personally had a lot of hate thrown at me, and there's a lot of people in the metal scene that don't like me specifically because of my stance. I was the guy that kind of took a stance against like the woke culture, like way back in the day. If you guys remember the Sounds of the Underground tour. The first Sounds of the Underground tour, All That Remains On, this is like 2005, and I said a no word in the DVD that's still around. You can go get it. And
first thing I'm doing after this.
I said, what did it? They said that they were like, oh, you say this word from stage, and that's not very PC. And I said PC is for. You can imagine what I said after that.
I know the exact word,
and it's still out there. But that was something that I'd always done. Like I was in the metal community because I didn't fit in with other places. Mm-hmm. And so the idea of PC in the metal community was always something that I was very against. And I was making these arguments poorly because I'm a dude in a metal band. I didn't have any kind of philosophical background. I hadn't read any philosophy. I didn't know where the ideas came from. I didn't know why they spread the way they did. All I knew was something didn't smell right. And that's literally why I named the Fall of Ideals, the record that kind of put All That Remains on the map. I named the Fall of Ideals, I named it that because I could smell it in 2005. I was like, there's something changing in the way that people kind of perceive the stuff that made America a cool country, right? Yeah. Like the idea that you can have like the freedom of speech, the idea that you can share controversial ideas, stuff that is inherent in countercultures, first of all, but also something that made America what it was. Yeah. So and I was like, the ideals that we have like kind of seem like they're becoming less important to people. And so I was on that tip before it became dangerous. And then when it became dangerous, people were, the knives were out automatically right away for me, Yeah. So
I mean, it's cancel culture. The reason why it is so dangerous and volatile is because of the types of people that wield it. Now, typically in society, leaders are usually naturally strong, confident, types of people who usually win respect. They achieve it through, hard labor or just being hardworking or being a natural leader or being taller or stronger or better looking. However, the power that the left wield is not power that they won or achieved. It was power that they that they were given through weaponizing phrases like like racist and stuff like that. By not only being labeled a racist, it's just like sure. Now it's if you're labeled as a racist, now it justifies the amount of hate that's about to come into your DMs, right? So they gained power because it was given to them because they became this online this social media force, and because these are the types of people who definitely should not have this kind of power. It's why cancel culture is just so unbelievably volatile.
Seems like the right earns respect, the left forces respect.
Yeah, they pity it out of you, right? They begged for it. Like, we're
not just begged.
You've got all that power over there, and we're here.
Nagged.
But the reason they call you racist is not because they actually think you're doing anything
not
wrong.
At all.
It's to get you in line, and that's what I mean by they're forcing respect. They will alienate you, or you'll get in line and respect their worldview.